Hello, is there anybody there? Right, I'm going to wait for some people to join me. I'm hoping that this is going out live. If you're there, give me a wave. This is the first time I'm using the software, so I'm hoping that it's all going to work just fine. We're going to set up Facebook as well so that people can join in and comment there. Hello, Facebook. We're live on YouTube as well as here on Facebook, so come and join me. I feel like I'm in some kind of sci-fi adventure with all of these screens around me. But yes, please come and join me and come and say hi. Hi, Helen. How are you? No spoilers on the SPN finale, please. I've only seen up to episode 8, but Amazon have just released 4 more episodes, so I can catch up later. But I've been waiting till after the launch, and then I'm going to catch up, because otherwise I get too distracted, because I can't just watch one episode. I've got to watch all of them all in one go. So let's see who's on. Oh, I want to see the comments, not leave a comment. Oh. Have they changed Facebook Live? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't spoil it. I know you wouldn't. But I'm so excited. And I keep accidentally seeing some spoilers as you do. Just because obviously you look for something, or just mutual friends have things, or it comes up in my search history, and I'm like, no, I don't want to see it yet. Yeah. So, hi, if you're on Facebook and want to come and join me on YouTube, that's where the conversation is at. If you're hanging out, say hi, drop something in the comments so that I know that you're there. And yeah, it's the post-launch Dirty River live stream. So hopefully we can chat about the video. I hope you've all seen it. I hope you've all enjoyed it. What did you think? Yeah, come on. Feedback. This is supposed to be interactive. Cheers, by the way. Oh, not product placement. Oh, there you go. I'm drinking Krabbies though. I thought I'd treat myself to a ginger beer. Scott's here on Facebook. Hi, Scott. Thanks for joining us. Have you watched the video? Did you like it? Did you love it? Are you going to share it? Sorry, I've been watching Bailey Sarian as well. Helen asks, was the water warm? Yes, the water was warm. It's about 40 degrees actually. So it was kind of like being in a hot tub, which was quite unusual really, because you would assume, oh, now what's going on with my phone? Yeah, you would assume that it would be more like a sort of like a swimming bath, I suppose, which is it can be a bit chilly, really, can't it? A swim bath sometimes. But no, it was very, very warm. So that was the one easy thing. The only thing that was difficult, of course, was that it's highly chlorinated, because yeah, because it is like a swimming pool. It has to be chlorinated, and I'm quite sensitive to bleach type things. So yeah, it was quite difficult for me because my eyes swelled up, and in fact, I would say if you look closely, but I don't want you to look too closely. Yeah, I don't want you to look too closely, but you can see that my eyes are swollen. Kaz is here. I like the contrast between costumes, showed the early and the innocent, the river goddess, and the more autumnal colours that the older deity. Yes, thank you. That was always the idea, that that she was, yeah, she was like an ancient goddess now, and that she's been, what's the word, been done wrong by mankind's just the advancement of industry and technology, had advanced and left her dirty and polluted instead of a nice crystal clear water. Although although of course the River Thames, which is the river that it was based on, I found out after writing the song, and relatively recently when doing some more research for this for the music video, that the Thames or Thamesis is actually means dark flow. That was the name of the river. So it's very possible that that the River Thames particularly was never like a crystal clean river, and most kind of large rivers, and especially in the UK, are not clear waters in the same way that you might see in other countries around the world. Our waterways do tend to be a bit muddy, just like the rest of the country. We get a lot of rainfall, and we're a small damp island, so yes, we don't have like, it's not like we have like Pacific oceans and clear crystal waters. But yes, I thought it was quite interesting that Thamesis, as in Thames, the goddess Thamesis, is means dark flow. So unknowingly, I'd already called the song Dirty River. We have another user watching, Mucky McFly. Now, I don't recognise that username. So are you somebody that I know, but with a different username? Or are you a new person? Hello, whoever you are. Let me know, whoever you are. And please ask questions. Scott shared it to Mystery Person. I wondered if that was you. Is it like your shadow man, Scott? Scott's a photographer down in Portland, and does a lot of photographs of Shadow Man rather than selfies of himself, shadows on the wall, which I think is very funny. Cliff Carr. Hello, Cliff Carr. I haven't seen you in an age, Cliff. I hope that you're well. I'm like the device queen today. I've got like a million notifications. I'm trying to make all of them work all at the same time. So, here we are. Welcome. Right, so today I launched the first of the Forever Wild tales, which was Dirty River, which for those of you who have the album Forever Wild will know it's the first track on Forever Wild. It is probably one of the more recognisable and requested songs out of my set, out of that album, which and also it made sense to do that one first. Also, the reason being is, especially at this time of year, because the song is actually dedicated to the memory of my friend Adrian Cooper, whom I worked with at the Dungeons, and up pops Jack, just as he said, "Yo, boss." Jack actually worked with us at the dungeon. Yes, I was his boss, and he knew and remembers Adrian just as much. And yes, Adrian was one of our operations managers, and he drowned in the Thames on the 14th, 15th of November, after a drunken night out, missing the train, trying to get to a friend's house, climbed over a fence and fell in, which is awful and tragic. But so between sort of the 15th of November and the funeral was on the 1st of December. So it's 14 years since we lost Adrian. So I figured, seeing as I was recording at this time, at this time of year, it seemed also appropriate to be able to dedicate it to the memory of Adrian. I've got some more comments. Martin from Confide. Look, I'm still repping Confide today. Martin Jackson of Confide, who is my bestie and has been absolutely instrumental in coaching me on some of the social media stuff, especially this streaming software, which is quite interesting. So yes, if you haven't listened to Confide Music, go subscribe, go listen. They have a number of releases out at the moment. Most notably Don't Lie Awake, which is this t-shirt, and another single called Anchor, all of which have very special sort of B-sides and extras and fun stuff. And it's Bandcamp Friday on Friday, so if you want to support artists and musicians, then yes, Bandcamp Friday. So who is Mookie McFly? Kind of, we had a few messages. Subtune music for your Chandelier cover. Oh yes, the Chandelier cover. Now that was a few years ago, and yeah, it seems like when I was looking at my hair's really short, um, but yeah, that was like a surprise cover. It was really weird, really. Somebody had suggested it, and I was thinking, um, was thinking, oh, that's just too much of like a beat song for me, rock chick. But then I found a version that was like orchestral, and sort of based it off that. Um, are there any references to Adrian in the imagery? Not specifically, no. Um, Other than there is a closer cut on the lines and the verse that relate to him, which is I pray on the hungry, I pray on the weak, I pray on the drunks that fall in from the street. You can the director has given a closer shot of my face, but no, not specifically, because on one hand I didn't really want to I didn't really want to dwell on that. It's still a story in itself. Um, and I didn't want to, yeah, I didn't want to make it as if it was like, oh, well, you're just profiting off your dead friend. Um, because I thought that might be a bit tasteful. But the story itself originated from the fact that after Adrian, uh, after Adrian passed, I was angry. I was like, oh well, there should be more health and safety, and there should be more this, and there's a problem with the river, and yeah. And then I woke up in the middle of the night, and oh, this is ridiculous. Obviously, as a pagan and somebody who believes that the rivers and our waterways are sacred, it just didn't make. It was just my grief that was lashing out, and so as to sort of rectify that as my kind of apology to the river herself, um, I realized it wasn't her fault. It was mankind's fault, which is why it's sort of like it's sort of an apology, but obviously it's written in the first person from her point of view. Um, so that you can, it was like the chance for her to tell her story, um, as she'd been silenced for many years, if you like. So yes, it is the story of the River Thames. Um, what else have we got? Right, so everybody seems to want to know about the underwater sequence, and I don't blame you, frankly, because it was very tricky. It's a lot harder than you might think. The human body is naturally buoyant, and some bodies are more buoyant than others, let's say. But yes, so there are certain tricks. But we filmed it at a place called Tank Space in Newark. Yes, Newark-ish. Um, my geography is not too good. But yes, it's in Newark. There's a smaller village that it's kind of closer to, but it's only sort of 45 minutes drive from Nottingham, so it's not too far away. And it's an amazing place. I'd heard about it from a lot of my mermaid friends, and they themselves also have something they call the Mermaid Cove. For those of you who were at Brixham Pirate Festival, you might have seen them there. They were the mermaids there. So for Dolman family people and pirate people who were down at Brixham, and if you saw the show down there, that's the actual tank that it was filmed in. So yes, in their studio they have the tank set up with lighting, and they've got little portals on the side that they can shine different lights through to create different effects. And then the front of the tank is 4-inch thick acrylic, and they have a big black gazebo over the whole space so that you get no reflection from the well, it's not glass, but from the open side of the tank. And yeah, you just get in with all your clothes on, which, unless you are someone who is, is sort of like an experienced swimmer in that sense, who has done any mermaiding, or that thing at school when you jump in the pool with your pajamas on. It's a little bit like that, but I had much more costume going on, and obviously you've got to get all the air out of your costume. And then Kai Coombs, who is the chap who owns and runs Tank Space, he was very good at getting me acclimatized, very good with the health and safety, making sure that I was safe and that I felt comfortable, before himself disappearing around the other side to take photographs. In fact, it's Kai's artwork that the cover is from. It's the stills that he took on that day, were from Kai rather than from the director Jay. So yeah, make sure that you're in and you're all acclimatized and that it's nice, and then get you to duck your head under the water and see what it's like. And obviously I had lots of makeup on, like shout out to NYX waterproof makeup, because it did not move, which I was quite chuffed with, although my eyelashes did come off. So I did have these amazing eyelashes on, but they didn't even last 20 minutes and they were off. We did get some shots though with the eyelashes on that do actually appear in the video. But yeah, the most helpful thing that he said was to sort of do short breaths, take quite a few breaths in, sort of oxygenate your blood so your brain has oxygen, if you like, and then breathe as much out as you can so that you've not got air in your lungs. Now, it's really counterintuitive, because your instinct is to take a big breath and then go under the water and then hold your breath, and kind of do that, but you can't act when you're doing that as well. So Cliff's just asking if I could hear the music to lip sync to. Yes, I could. We had a big speaker that was at the back of the tank, and we adjusted the bass on it so that it was a little bassier than you would normally just want to listen to. But of course, it was enough, and I know the song well enough. It was just so that I had the place in the song, and I know the timing well enough, so I was able to lip sync under, and I could actually hear it under the water, however muffled, but yes, I could hear it under the water. Helen is asking, do you have to go through as many takes to get the flow of the fabric work out straight away? Oh no, so many takes. I was in that tank for 4 hours basically. So we did about an hour and a half, and I began in the white frock because there was less makeup, or it was more gentle makeup. And to start with, I had things in my hair. I had like ornaments in my hair. But yeah, when the eyelashes came off, I realised everything was tangled up with the stuff in my hair, so I had to take it out. So the second part of that, my hair's just loose. But yeah, the first thing when I got in the tank, Kai was like, just lay back, and just kind of get used to it. And I was like, Rrr. So yeah, you think, oh, this will just be easy. I'll just do this. It'll be fine. And yeah, like I say, you automatically want to float. So yeah, it takes a little while to get into the hang of getting in the right position, and then holding a position, and then relaxing and making it look like it's effortless without having a face on that makes you go, by that. By the time, obviously, then I floated about a bit and did all the shots in the white dress, the pure and clean goddess, for about an hour and a half maybe, and then had a break, and then got changed, redid the makeup, and went back in to do the dark goddess, which obviously took longer because yes, there was many takes. I had to figure out how long I could hold my breath for. But what I found as I went along, the more that I'd sort of done these little breaths, which I suppose oxygenates your blood. So it's a little bit like hyperventilating in that I didn't need to hold as much oxygen in my lungs because I'd already like oxygenated my blood. So I tricked my brain into like, because yeah, it's counterintuitive. You want to hold your breath and you want to breathe, or you want to either not breathe, let alone open your mouth and sing. And of course, you've got to make sure you've got no air bubbles in your mouth, so you have to kind of keep your mouth open a little bit. But by the end of it, I was managing to get sort of 3 or 4 lines in one go. Like almost a whole verse. So that's why the takes that you can see, we were quite lucky to get almost like a whole verse in one take. But every time I came up for air, I'd have to stand in the same position again, move all the fabric into the sort of right place, and then go back down again, because obviously every time you stand up it moves, every time you sit down it moves. So I got to the point where I was able to kneel at the bottom of the tank. You'll see that I have my hand over my head quite a bit. That's because there's a bar in the centre of the tank which you can use to brace yourself against. I quite like the effect in the video though. It looks like I'm just sort of hanging from something, but yes, so that's why I have my hand in the air for a lot of it, because I'm having to brace myself to stay underwater for that length of time. I thought about afterwards it would have been really useful if there was like little handles on the bottom of the tank so you could hold on to the bottom of the tank. I might suggest that to Kai. Yeah, the continuity was really tricky to sort of get it more or less the same, but I figured I just had a really talented director, basically. Yeah, Jay was just very talented in what he was doing. And the thing is, I couldn't see anything, can't see anything out of the tank because they're in the dark to reduce the reflection and the glare. So, yeah, I was just blind and my eyes were stinging. And by the end of the 4 hours was up, I was thinking, oh, what am I doing? You know, how we suffer for our art. My eyes were swollen and I was all kind of out of breath and snotty from like being under the water. I'm thinking this is not attractive at all. Yeah, and I'd ripped part of my frock because I'd put my foot through it and sort of torn it in the middle of it. Yeah, so there was a lot of shots where it was just floating about. Yes, 4 hours. In the tank, yeah, there was a lot of it where it was just sort of floating about, but yeah, there was at least a solid hour where it was just take after take after take, going through the whole song line by line. Although we did cheat and we only did the chorus once, but we did do all of the verses. Because we figured by then it was, I think my eyeballs were just melting. So, yeah, I was very grateful for the next day when we did the dry shoot, which is the laying in all of the leaves. That I just had really heavy makeup on, so I just laid it all on, and you couldn't see the swollen eyes. Yes. Oh, Martin has joined on. He's working on the phones this evening for his work, for his like day job, and he's listening. He says thanks for the shout out. Yes, you're very welcome, Martin. Why wouldn't I shout out? Of course I would. Yes. So, how's everybody doing? Oh, Jack's back. Yeah, ask me some questions. let me know what you thought of it. Yeah, just catch up with the comments there. Yeah, so if you're watching, give us a wave, say hello, let me know that you're there, especially if you are on Facebook, because I'm not paying as much attention to Facebook as I am to YouTube, because that's where the conversation is. So come and join us on YouTube. What are you doing over there? Come over here. Because this is where the cool kids are, obviously. Never mind them lot. Yeah, meanwhile, I just feel like I'm in, a sci-fi something or other. Mm. Cheers, everybody. I must say thank you so much for the response that I've had. I was blown away with the response. I did have a quick look before I came on, and there's over 200 views. And considering that's just in a few hours, like what, 7 hours, that's more than I could have hoped for. But yes, keep sharing. Please keep watching. Yeah, it's the first of a journey. Yeah, the idea is to take the album Forever Wild and create a series of music videos, narratives, maybe short films, depending on what the song is, and what it lends itself to. But yes, to tell the stories in a visual way, from the album Forever Wild. So the Forever Wild tales have begun, people. Oh, thank you very much, Cliff. Cliff on Facebook is saying that I must have had wrinkly fingers if I was in there for 4 hours. But yes, the reasoning behind the song. Yeah, I felt I had to sort of make my apologies and kind of say sorry for. Yes, it was my grief, and grief affects everybody in different ways, and that's okay. But I felt as if I'd done a bit of a disservice by blaming the river. Of course, it was nothing to do with the river. It was Aid and his. He was just one of those kind of people that was just a bit crazy. He was like the drunken crazy one. He'd be the one that'd climb a lamppost, or be the one that'd run out in the street, and he was just that kind of person. So yes, it doesn't surprise me that he thought, oh, I'll just climb over that fence and be fine. Silly boy, silly boy. Yes, Jack, when you're in Nottingham, you'll have to actually let me know in advance rather than just sort of sneak in or appearing randomly. But yeah, my lockdown. Jack's asking how my lockdown is. Well, my lockdown has been very solitary, shall we say. I am autoimmune and I'm vulnerable. So I've been shielding for most of it. Yes, I have 2 different autoimmune diseases as part of my chronic illness. So yes, I've had to be extra special careful. But it's okay. I have a lot of wonderful masks that my mother made for me with the medical grade filter stuff inside them, because she was making scrubs for York District Hospital when in the PPE shortage at the beginning of the lockdown, and they gifted them some of the filter fabric. So she was able to make me some masks that have the medical grade filter inside of them, all in funky fabrics. So I've got some Harry Potter ones, and I've got some dinosaur ones. But yes, that is one of the things now that is part of my life that I have to get used to, is the limitations that my chronic illness put on me, which ranges a lot of different things, usually energy levels. I have to I have to be mindful of my diet, as in what I eat, because certain foods will make me more tired or they won't give me as much energy. It's more a case of there are certain foods that are big energy givers, and those are the ones that I want to make sure that I get good nutritional value. I don't mean, I'm not talking about sort of a vanity diet in that respect. I just mean diet as in nutrition. So yes, I do have to be mindful of the types of foods that I eat. Also, it affects my mobility, of course, because one of the conditions I have is osteomalacia, which is a bone condition, which means that my bones don't fully calcify, so they're a bit bendy, and they're prone to bruising and breaking easily if I fall. And as some of you who may know, I also have seizures, although it's been a long time now since I had my last seizure. Knock on wood. So yes, that's all going pretty well. I don't want to jinx it, basically. I managed to apply for my driving license for the very first time this year, which is amazing. This is very exciting. But yes, there's lots of different ways that my illness affects me. So even more so why I have to be extra locked down. But I've been amusing myself by planning the Forever Wild Tales. A bit earlier on in lockdown, I did do a couple of live streams for a couple of festivals, like online festivals, and joined in with doing some of that stuff. And yeah, I've just been plodding along. I've taken the opportunity to heal, really, and to not put pressure on myself to do stuff. So I've actually quite enjoyed lockdown, the excuse to not go out all the time and to talk to people, which is awful, really, isn't it? But yes, I've needed to have quiet and stillness to help my healing. So actually, it's been quite beneficial in a way. Tanya asks, which look did I prefer filming? Oh, you see, that's really tough, because on one hand, the dry set, which we did on the second day, was a lot easier, and in terms of a video shoot, it was more enjoyable because we had the live playback. I was actually able to sing. I was surrounded by air and gravity, which is much more familiar, and yeah, so from a video shoot, and I was able to act and play to camera, and we got to build a set, which is, I went out and just basically raided the local hedgerow, went out with a carrier bag and was just like, leaves. But yes, so that was, in that respect, that was kind of enjoyable because it was easier, and it was more like a video shoot. But on the other hand, lip syncing underwater, that's a once in a lifetime experience. Well, maybe not once in a lifetime, it depends who you are, of course, but I think for me that's like, there would be no point in me doing another video underwater. And in fact, I'd always had in my head that I wanted to film this underwater, because how else are you gonna really depict who she is without having and I kind of dismissed it because I thought it's not what I'm looking for. I kind of dismissed it because I thought it's not something I'm ever going to be able to do. It was going to be really difficult or really expensive or whatever. But yeah, as soon as I heard about Tank Space, I was like, that's the perfect opportunity to actually get some really interesting footage. Yeah, so I kind of, as soon as they turned up on my radar, it was always in there in the back of my mind. I was like, yeah, that's totally doable now. Oh no, Tanya's, which version of the goddess? The version of the goddess I like is the one that's telling the story, basically. and also because I don't really wear white very often, so it was a bit strange for me to wear white. Um, and there was quite a few comments actually of me wearing white as well, like, what are you doing, who are you? But I did like the makeup that I had for the pure and clean goddess. I did like the big lashes and all of that kind of stuff. But yes, I think the character that I much prefer the dark goddess, because she's the one telling the story. She's the one with all the passion and the pain. um yes, so i think that's I think that's pretty self-explanatory, really. um yeah. mm. I must say, while I'm here, um massive thanks to Jay Hillier of Jay Hillier Films. He's based in Mountain Mowbray. um yeah, I really enjoyed working with him, and I'm going to be doing another of, well, at least one other of the Forever Wild Tales, because it's kind of scheduled in, and I've really enjoyed working with him, and I don't see why I don't see any reason to not continue working with him. So I really like his edits. I like his his visual, the way that his style. That's what I think. His cinematographic. No, what's the word? You know what I mean. His his style. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the next one. But the next one is a bit of a mammoth project. It's going to have probably multiple locations, which might make it a bit of a bind. But I'm sure we'll get round it. Yeah, I'm sure we'll figure it out. It's just going to take a little bit more planning. So it's not going to be as easy, so as, if you pardon the pun, as cut and dry as this one was, which I had a very strong concept of what it was in my head before we even started filming. Mind you, there's a lot of them, because they are stories, and the and the way that they were written, they've all been written as stories. They've all got meanings behind them. All of the Forever Wild tracks, they all have substance to them at some point. So there's no reason. Yeah, there's no reason why they shouldn't all be stories. What's that, Helen? If you actually have a wolfie in one of these vids, I volunteer as an off-screen helper. I might hold you to that, actually, because yes, I mean, I know that that this one we kept it as a bit of a surprise because it was the start of the project. I'm not sure whether I will keep all of them a surprise or not. And of course, seeing as it is the title track of the album, yes, we will be filming Forever Wild at some point. So it's very, very likely that, yes, we will have a wolf dog on set. I'm also looking for volunteers for the wolf dog. Now, if Julie Calvert is around somewhere and Nanook is available, but I know you're quite far away. You and Nanook are quite far away, but I'm not overly a dog person. I'm more of a cat person. That said, there are certain dogs that I kind of get on with individually as people. I don't just mean like dogs passing in the street, but like if there's somebody's dog and I've met them and I know them, and Nanook is one of the dogs that I know I get on with. There's also Indian Alex's Malamook as well, and Phil and Lottie Wild have a Malamook. So I've got, and Chubbs Handy has 4 huskies, so there's possibilities there. I'm just gonna have to see who's closest and who's available when we do the shoot. But on that, when we film Forever Wild, we will also, Martin will also be included in that. And they do always say never work with children and animals, so I don't know what I'm going to do there. Oh, yeah, I'm hoping that Martin was on a call then and didn't hear me say that. But yes, so yeah, Martin will be involved in that one, which which I think it'll make it a bit of a different project. So we'll have to make sure that our schedules coincide, and that one's it's got to be outdoor, because it's got to be in a forest, in a wood somewhere. So it's got to be good weather. It's got to be the right time of year. We need props and sets and dogs and um and a full moon. I think maybe, or maybe we can Photoshop a full moon in. Is that cheating? Nah. Artistic license, but I'm sure we'll be wanting volunteers and people to help out, hold reflectors and boom stands and all the usual filming kind of stuff. So if I put out a call for volunteers, I expect you all to respond, seeing as you all want to pet the dogs. Yes. So what else do you want to? Oh, I was saying about Jay. Yes, amazing director. I enjoyed working with him immensely. Martin, his recent videos were done by Jay as well, which is how I found out about him. And I saw Don't Lie Awake and Anchor. In fact, it was more Anchor that I saw and was like, yes, who is this dude? And I don't know why the two would be different, because I don't know, maybe it was leafy, and I don't know. But yeah, maybe. And of course he did C'est La Vie, which is, excuse me, Martin's most recent 90s pop, whatever it is. Yes, let the fun begin. Hey, if we're on Martin's live stream after his launch, he got us to rewrite the words to C'est La Vie, and nothing that I can repeat here, because it was talk about toilet humour, it's absolutely foul. Just all of our minds live in the gutter. It was yeah. Take this pill made of goat. I don't even want to go. It was surreal, and quite frankly sickening. Um, but a lot of fun. So I'm not going to make anybody rearrange the lyrics here, but yes, if you please go check out Jay's page, Jay Hillier Films, and if you are a musician yourself, or a band, or whatever, or you want your own, yeah, I can highly recommend it. He's very easygoing to work with. He gets the shots done. You know, he doesn't faff about. He's just like, set up, yeah, let's go. And also, what I actually enjoyed talking about the creative aspects with him. I imagine that a lot of band videos, just because of the nature of them, are performance videos. So the band sets up as if they were at a gig, and they're filmed in a performance setting. So he was saying it's always interesting for him to do something a little bit different, and to get involved in something that's more of a storytelling than just a performance. So I think he was enjoying it because of that. However, like I said, I'd had the idea of what I wanted. I knew I wanted a top-down shot of the goddess lying on a riverbank, sort of washed up on the riverbank, which is all of the dry set stuff. And I knew I wanted to lip sync underwater. So I knew I wanted those things, and I kind of, because the song has a very definite story. It's almost like you can say, well, this bit goes here and this bit goes here, and that's how it's sort of storyboarded or tells the story. And then I just left him to it, really. And I think we can all agree he's done an absolutely amazing job. Absolutely amazing. I'm so pleased with it. I'm so proud of it. And I'm so pleased that you all like it as well, which is really cool. Yeah. Do you have any more questions for me before I go? Because I've been on about an hour now, and I don't want to just witter on for no reason. So if you are there, give me a wave still and let me know that you're still there. And if you have any questions, let me know. So yeah, just to round up and make sure I say thank all of the right people. Jay for directing. Tank Space for their location and for the stills and for the cover image. of the actual CD cover, and Kai's photography on that. Also Josh Elliott, who produced Dirty River, the song, and obviously the album Forever Wild at JGE Studios in Dorset. Part of the Dolman family down there. Josh is a very talented guitarist and engineer and all-round musician. That I don't think there is an instrument he couldn't come into contact with and not know how to play. He's just one of those, natural abilities. So hi, Josh. Yes, and thank you for your amazing arrangements on Dirty River. So yes, Dirty River is going to be released as a single on Bandcamp. So pop over there on Friday. Don't worry, I will remind you all, the social media junkie that I am. Yes, I'll remind you all that on Friday you can go and take advantage of Bandcamp Friday, where the platform waives all its fees, so that 100% of what you give goes straight to the artist, which is the best way to support music and the artists that you like. Cool. Cliff says, oh, thank you, Cliff. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the next Forever Wild Tales as well. So, and hopefully I will get to see you before then, but the way that this year is going, probably not. But yes, don't be a stranger, Cliff. Cliff is a bard, basically, a fantastic pagan bard. Yes, many a campfire has been cheered by his dulcet tones, and then ruined by the rest of us joining in, usually. Yes, so Bandcamp Friday, there's going to be, the single is being released. You can get Dirty River and 2 other tracks, which have been specially remastered by Martin Jackson over the weekend from the Unplugged sessions that we did. So these haven't really been officially released. I did have them on a small... not quite demo quality. They were mixed. They weren't demo quality, but they were. It was like a self-produced CD that I handed out at some of my gigs with the unplugged, with the unplugged versions of Anymore and All She Wanted. So there's 2 more songs on there which are not on Forever Wild. That only some of you, if you have crossed my paths at a live gig and I've had them with me, would you have come across those two songs. So yeah, go and check them out. Go and have a listen. Let me know what you think. Yes, Cliff, many a great night round the fire, from what I can remember anyway. Yeah. If Nifton is there, if Duncan Nifton is there, you only remember half of it anyway. That is until like the Bad Pirate comes out, or the Toffee Vodka, or was it Parma Violet something, or I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, so I think that's probably it from me. A couple of upcoming things before I go. I'll be I'm recording a podcast with Not Rockcast. So for those of you who know Jethro and the Rockcast, I'll be recording a podcast with him, which I will be explaining all about a little bit more about what we're doing and upcoming projects and bits and pieces, and probably some more in-depth chatter about the video itself. And also I'm going to be doing a guest slot with the Cask Bar, which for those of you who are Tap family, you'll know that Craig, who used to manage the Tap back in the day, now has his own craft beer independent free house in Loughborough called the Cask Bar, which is centered on around music. Sadly, of course, they have been closed. I think they did manage to open for a little while, but they are closed again now that we've gone back into tier 3 in this part of the country. But their online weekly like cask bar acoustic open mic, they've been doing an online open mic almost since the beginning of lockdown, and people just send in their like home recorded videos. Yeah, so we get to have a little bit of an open mic, and that happens on a Wednesday night via their page. So tune into those guys, and in a couple of weeks, I think it's the 16th, we've said, I'll be doing a guest spot on there, and again chatting with them a little bit more about what's been going on. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, in the meantime, take care, everybody. It's been nice chatting with you. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, see you soon next time. I'm now going to go and have a well-deserved rest because I am shattered. That's the thing about having a chronic illness. You run out of spoons pretty quickly. But I'm all right because I've got 4 episodes of Supernatural to catch up on. So I can go and get my Castiel fix. I love that angel. I love that angel. Right, okay, guys. So once again, I've had a really lovely day. And even though I've been on my own in my house, I've had so many lovely messages from people, such amazing feedback from the video. Yeah, it's been so nice to hear everybody's responses, and I'm so glad that everybody enjoyed it. I'm really proud of the video, because yeah, not just in the fact that it was quite difficult for me to do physically. It was a lot of physical effort for me to do that, but also it was a long time coming, and I think it's a very fitting tribute to Adrian. So here's to you, Coop. Yeah, wherever you may be, Scal, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. So stay safe out there. Remember, wash your hands, wear a mask, don't be racist. All right then, see you guys later. Ta-ra! Bye! Now I have to find out how to stop the streaming. I think it's this button.